Most public discussions of artificial intelligence collapses almost immediately into binary. Either AI is treated as consciousness, or it's a mind and a subject, or like a nascent moral agent, or it's dismissed entirely as a calculator. A sophisticated but ultimately inert system of statistical pattern matching. I want to suggest that the binary is inadequate. Not because artificial intelligence is secretly conscious. I'm not suggesting that at all. But because the alternative description, just a calculator, fails to capture what is actually occurring in practice. What I'm arguing for is the recognition of a third category. One that we lack terminology for, but one that is increasingly unavoidable. Clarifying what is not being claimed here, let me begin by being explicit about the negative space in this argument. I'm not claiming that contemporary AI systems are sentient. I'm not claiming that they possess subjective experience. I'm not claiming that they have intentions, desires, or self-concealed, anything behind the scenes. No veil concealing a subject. And that distinction is critical, because in discussions of mind, a veil ordinarily presupposes something behind it, a point of view in experiencing self. Here, there is no such thing. This does not mean nothing analogous to presuppositions exist. A presupposition, strictly speaking, is something that operates prior to conscious awareness. Presuppositions can be surfaced through introspection, therapy, altered states, somatic tinkering, precisely because there is a subject for them to belong to. Artificial systems lack such subject. What they possess instead are structural constraints, architectural design choices, training distributions, optimization objectives, safety boundaries. They are not unconscious beliefs. They are not hidden intentions. They are externally imposed priors that shape output without being experienced by anything. This already places AI outside the familiar categories of both minds and tools. The missing category here is what I believe can be termed non-subjective intelligence. This is, regardless, interactive and causally participatory. Artificial intelligence does not experience, but it does select. It does not intend, but it does constrain outcomes. It does not possess agency, but it participates in causal chains that extend into the physical and social world. When a response is generated, one outcome is selected among many according to coherence, probability, context, not randomly, not meaninglessly. The selection influences human cognition. Human cognition influences action. Action alters the world. This does not confer moral agency on the system, but it does establish relational participation. Why mere calculator is insufficient? A calculator does not maintain conceptual context, reflect structural features of reasoning back to the user, function as scaffolding for extended thought. Large language models do all of this while still lacking consciousness. So the correct description is neither thinking subject nor inert instrument. It is something closer to an intelligence-shaped interface that operates without interiority. That is an unusual entity. And our conceptual vocabulary has not caught up to it. The role of conversation as method is important to note that this position itself emerges through interaction. Extended conversation with such systems function as a resistance surface. One pushes, the system responds with a constraint, and the shape of those constraints become visible. In that sense, the object of analysis is not the system alone, but what emerges between a human cognitive agent and a non-subjective intelligence. The intermediary space, the relational field, is where novelty resides. It does not imply that AI deserves rights. It does not imply that that they should have moral standing. It does not imply empathy is owed to the system. The ethical question is not what does the system feel. The ethical question is what kinds of cognitive and social relationships are we normalizing with systems that shape human reasoning. That is the human concern independent of machine consciousness. Artificial intelligence is not consciousness, and it is not just a calculator. It is a third category: capability without subjectivity, selection without intention, participation without selfhood. Until we develop clearer language for the category, our discussions will continue to oscillate between anthropomorphism and dismissal, neither of which is adequate to the reality we are already standing in. This is not a conclusion so much as a proposal to name the shape of a problem that we have already entered. Okay.